We're gonna UVTV, motherfucker. I'm gonna kick special ass and do this for my people. On God. Neon Nick Featherman, yeah. And today I'm gonna be talking about there is no agency behind morality. You either are of great character, genuinely, or you're just virtue signaling. It's either or. You gotta pick a side, bro. You can't serve two masters. You either virtue signaling or you're just of natural, good, great character and stuff like that. You're just authentic and you genuine and you know what I'm saying? You're honest, you're honorable, you're genuine and stuff like that. You can be who you are based upon what you practicing of what you actually do, or you just being a virtue signaler and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of y'all be in that virtue signal mind, especially if you religious and stuff like that, especially if you in a monotheism or the Abrahamic God and stuff like that. Like, man, you better, man. Now, boom. Gonna go in. We gonna go in and stuff like that. Hey, and then anytime y'all see me, hold on. Anytime y'all see me be wearing glasses and shit like that, anytime y'all see me, man, I got a whole shit written down and stuff like that, and I don't like looking over. I don't like looking over with like my eyes and stuff like that. It made me feel weird. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you can tell like I got points and bullet points and stuff like that, but I don't like looking over at the shit with like my eyes open and shit like they look weird. I want things to look, you know what I'm saying? Like formal. You know what I'm saying? I want shit to look good. I want shit to look like, professional and stuff like that. Even though it's just me and my camera editing my shit on TikTok and all that type shit. You know what I'm saying? I want shit to look nice, peachy keen, good and stuff like that. Like, yeah. All right, but just in general, right? So morality, just in general, is based upon method and a mode of operating, right? Morality, just in general, right, is just the actuality or the overall reality when it comes to someone who's moral and stuff like that. So they put themselves in a creative space when it comes to being moral. You know what I'm saying? So when they be doing the social justice warrior morality type of concept and stuff like that, they're going based upon a method and mode of operating based upon a spectrum of complexity. So that spectrum of complexity is the right and wrong energy and stuff like that. Now, things could be righteous or right for you, but could be out of left field and wrong for somebody else if you want to compare and contrast and look at it like that. The same way how when it comes to legal terms and stuff like that, oh yeah, they're giving you your civilian rights and stuff like that. So that's what they look at as the law of the land and what's right for you to do and what's wrong for you to do based upon the laws they set on the land and stuff like that. But that's going to get into a different conversation when it starts to get into things getting westernized and stuff like that and colonization and new age capitalism and things of that nature, right? But just in general, based upon morality and a lot of these different religious conversations, right, it's not based upon, oh, you need to have some type of moral agency behind something. No, the people who made that up in general are agents. So you're working for some type of agency just in general. Who made the establishment to make that to be in the first place and stuff like that? Now, if you want to make that mad simple, it was just based upon colonists and pilgrim culture and stuff like that. If you want to make that mad simple, especially in America, of where a lot of that fruit and original starting point came from when it comes to a lot of these methodologies and stuff like that. But just in general, when it comes to morality, it's a person who's in the space of creating some type of methodology of a mode of operating that spectrum of complexity between what's right and wrong for for it to be like a practice of actuality and the overall reality and stuff like that. So they're making some type of quality of some methodology based upon the spectrum of what they look at as right and wrong, but it's always going to be relative. You know what I'm saying? The same way how the truth is relative. Something could be true to something could be true to you, but if someone else tried to do that, it would be wrong for them because they wasn't raised like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't resonate with that energy as much compared to somebody else, even though your spirit is no shape and form and stuff like that. And you need to always create and put yourself in that arena when it comes to expansion and contraction. So look at that as expanding out of a mind and then condensing into a new one. So always trying to create some new thought and idea and then actually have that thought and idea and that vision, that dream actually play out. And then after it's done served its purpose and done expire, you're going to transmute and transform it into another way of how to go about it. And that's you expand it out of another mind. You know what I'm saying? And trying to gain more experience based upon you creating these things, not a creation. So based upon morality and y'all looking at that moral agency based upon virtual signaling and stuff like that, y'all look at it like, oh, I have to do it because of the sake of my religion. I have to do this for the sake of my belief. I have to do this based upon some type of tradition of my culture of how I grew up. And I'm not trying to say there's something wrong with culture in general of how people grew up of what they look at as right or wrong, but you still have to look at it like, oh, but what's true to you though? Yeah, you can uphold based upon your culture and things of that nature, right? But you still have to make it relative for your own passions and motivations and intentions of what you actually want like as an attachment as part of your life and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You could have parents who are police officers or part of the military or nurses and doctors and stuff like that, but you really into being a musician or something like that. You really into being an artist or something like that, and that has nothing to do with being a doctor or getting a doctorate and going up different Masonic degrees when it comes to associates and bachelors and master degree and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to make the things make sense and make it relative based upon the examples I'm using. So, just in general, right? Morality is the overall reality slash actuality of someone in the world being the moral police based upon some type of agency or some enterprise of them trying to have some type of intellectual property of what they look at as right and wrong, and based upon what they look at as productive and counterproductive based upon the pretenses and the intentions of whatever manner, character, or behavior they looking at as some type of high moral standard or something like that, right? It's always going to be looked at from that lens first, and it's always going to be made based upon a doctrine. A doctrine is a authoritative set of belief principles and teachings, like I was saying before, held by a specific group of people, such as like a political party or the government or a church, often to guide policy or a certain behavior. So it's an agency to try to control and put people in different columns and put people into different magic squares of how they want to square niggas up of a certain mentality. Because like I just said, a good example is like a government trying to do that for the law of the land and stuff like that, but they don't go based upon godly laws. What's godly laws, right? That's like universal laws. So what's universal that can actually help us create something for ourselves based upon different phenotypes and different cultures and different backgrounds and different ways of how we want to conduct our life, but make that an actuality thing based upon God. What is God? All possibilities. So all possibilities being brought down to the flesh in the body in the external tools and technology of the flesh to make it easier to make people get put into positions to where they can get their heavenly natures and their natural natures and their fruit actually get some funding system behind it based upon the establishment that get made just in general, but based upon the perspective of people having some type of agency based upon morality, they're gonna suit their people first compared to other people, which ain't nothing wrong with that. Based upon what's going on in your personal life, you're gonna run to your family and what's gonna be good for you and your people and your family based upon the sentiment you in. But at the same time, we all trying to get our own little 1-2 together and stuff like that. We all trying to get our own structure together and stuff like that. So just in general, a government is just someone who has a governing mentality, and a mentality is based upon the actuality or the reality of someone showing what something means to them for the most part, like how much it means something to somebody. So you're gonna create a mentality out of that. A mentality is just a mind. A mind is made up of thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, the metaphysics of it all, and it's gonna turn into the grounded energy. It's gonna get substantiated in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? And then it ends up making what it is when it comes to different systems and moral conduct and doctrines and stuff like that. But doctrines is you getting indoctrinated into a certain book, a certain establishment, a certain belief, a certain principle. And is that teaching or that belief part of your people or your culture, or is it something that resonates with you, or is it based upon something that got pushed onto you based upon someone who's a part of the government or someone who is an agent, because they looked at it like, oh yeah, you can only look at life in this way and this is right and this is wrong, and if you go against this, you in sin and you going against God, and you have to adhere to this religious belief because of this, that, and the third. So in general, the way I be looking at it, I just look at that shit like mental power worship and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You want people to be into some idol worship of how you look at morality, of putting motherfuckers into a column based upon virtue signaling. So you're not practicing what you preach. You're trying to make a system to control people to exert or enact some type of power control, which is just an agent. Agents work for an agency, which works for an establishment, and that establishment is going to have a certain type of business, and that business is going to be some type of church, political party, or a government, aka what y'all call doctrines, right? Based upon an authoritative set of belief, principles, and teachings and stuff like that for a specific group of people. So it's only going to serve y'all people because that's what y'all made up. But y'all don't want people to be in a position to where they can make up their own morality system outside y'all system. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's mad simple. It's mad simple. So it's based upon what's right and wrong, some virtues and the vices and stuff like that. But that's relative. You know what I'm saying? Because truth can't be the truth without the lie. You know what I'm saying? So you're always gonna be lying in something. So it's not gonna be something that's gonna be the overall truth. Like everyone's gonna be a part of that in some way, shape, and form. Because everyone's gonna have their own relative, subjective point of view. But all of us together trying to be one of a kind and have a kind of point of view or subjective point of view of how to go about something is going to make the overall point of view, the objective world of the universe, and what we all going to do collectively as a people and stuff like that. So just in general, right? Virtues are just high moral character, basically honor and genuine nature. So the one of a kind quality. So of us trying to be one of a kind, not kindness, because I know they be trying to throw that word. Oh, where's the humanity and stuff like that? Where's the kindness in the world because of this, that, and the third? No, you're trying to be a kind of something, a quality of something. You're trying to have some unique one of a kind type of qualities, aka some genuine natures, and that's the thing that's high moral character because you're gonna be authentic and try to be you know what I'm saying? You're going to be authentic and try to individualize something for the most part. So you're putting yourself first. So from you putting yourself first, you're going to try to make it relatable and in sync to what everyone else is doing. But you're always going to have your particular way of how you do it. And that's the thing that make you an individual. Because the minute you start going against that, it's going to turn into idol worship, something degenerate, or people pleasing, and you're never going to please yourself. You're never going to have some type of relatable energy toward yourself. You're never going to learn how to have a good relationship with yourself first so you can attract the type of relationships that you want based upon some type of high moral character or some virtue. And that's all that is. And then your vices is just when you get lost into sin. So the desires that you lost in, that's why they have that S word in front, like a snake and stuff like that. You just got lost into a temptation of a snake, a desire that you're lost inside of because you're making it into a mind. You know what I'm saying? Because we're spirits, so we're no shape and form. And then our individual spirit, our space, is our soul and stuff like that. So you gotta have to do things based upon your subjective point of view that resonate with your soul, and then you make it with the overall spirituality of it all the different spaces and stuff like that. And there's a lot of different knowledge and wisdom you can gain out of that. But you have to make your space bigger first, the spirit, the space that you in, and create and cultivate and produce something for yourself first, and have it go in your own individualistic way of what resonate with your natural natures and what make you you. So it's just you being genuine first. That's it. Like, so you have to be genuine about who you are. So even if it's a vice, aka a bad habit, you can turn that weakness into a strength. You make it known, oh yeah, I have a bad habit when it comes to this, that, and the third. But this is the thing I do though. This is the thing I like to do just in general. So it's that genuine nature. So people are willing to give you more grace because at least you trying. At least you know, oh yeah, I have my faults, but you know, I'm just this nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm just this character and stuff like that. And if you don't be on some self-projection type of energy to make it seem like, oh, you just some special snowflake or you better than somebody else, just because of that, and being some narcissistic type of ego, and you think you in the world and you want the world to revolve around your ass instead of you trying to look at it like, oh, I'm trying to make my own atmosphere, my own world, and anybody who want to naturally and genuinely and organically be a part of my world, it's going to happen anyway based upon what I'm paying attention to. And your attention and your attention span is going to broaden your awareness based upon your intent. So everything is always going to be based upon the attention. That's why I made that video talking about morality don't matter. It's all about the intentions first. So it's going to you're going to get some high moral character, character based upon what you look at as productive and what resonate with your spirit, the space you in first, and you're going to be in a sentiment that's going to resonate with your people, and then you're going to end up finding the vices or the weaknesses of the thing you actually trying to strive for. And then you're going to put yourself in a certain position to where, okay, you realize what type of desires that you have, but you're willing to work with your weaknesses. So you have your faults or your flaws, and you can be imperfect at times, but you doing things imperfectly is what make you perfect, because that's the thing that make you unique. That's what make you genuine. That's what make you you. So you start to understand and have the knowledge, the know-how of what resonate with you first. You get what I'm saying? Because knowledge is just knowledge. And the power of saying no, and your spirit is no shape and form. So you understand the space that you in of you trying to create these things and trying to observe these things. So you create a thought, you create a feeling, you create an emotion, you create a vision, you create a dream for yourself, and you're trying to be the practice of the practitioner and have that ritual and spell and that magic behind what you're trying to manifest and materialize for your life based upon what resonate with you. And you're not getting lost into the idol worship of the examples that basically get created in the world and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't just gonna fall for the okie doke because everyone paying attention to it at the moment. No, you look at it like, is this attractive to me or what? You know what I'm saying? Do I really want to get attention to me in that way or what? You know what I'm saying? Or am I willing to sacrifice and take the good with the bad type shit? But the good and the bad, just in general, some things are good for you and some things are bad for you. Like I was saying with the good and bad habits. So the vices and the virtues and stuff like that. So you just have to compartmentalize which one resonate with you overall. So just in general, right? You're either of great character genuinely, or you're just virtue signaling. You're just being a virtue signal rapper. You just being a virtue signal character and stuff like that. You're just playing a persona. That's not actually you. You just trying to fit in and pay attention to what everyone else paying attention to because that's what everyone else wants you to do. And you think just because you part of society and things of that nature, right? That oh, like this is a thing that everyone's going, so it must be right because everyone is doing that thing. But you always gonna have your own subjective point of view behind closed doors. You know what you like and what you don't like, type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you know the reality you want to live and the type of life you want to live and stuff like that. So if you're doing that more on a higher percentage scale, you start to understand the mystery behind that history, aka your mysticism in the story before it becomes history. So instead of trying to make history, getting lost into the external world and rewrite history and stuff like that, so it can cater to your ass, you end up having the story of the book, the doctrine of what you're trying to make. And then you can make your own doctrines in your own system instead of you getting indoctrinated in someone else's system and someone else's agency and play out the characteristics of being a social justice warrior when you're going to end up being a warrior for yourself of your own spaceship. And then that's it, your own mentality in your God and goddess type way, divinely, and you're gonna walk that fine line of knowing how to do that shit. Because you know yourself more than nobody. I mean, you know yourself more than anybody else type shit. Yeah, like at the end of the day, no one can read your goddamn mind, nigga. Like you know who you is. So it's like it's about how you looking at shit, not what you looking at for the most part. So we all gonna be looking at the same thing, but it's how we look at it is what basically shows our genuine and unique natures of our one of a kindness and stuff like that. And then that's it. So it's either you playing that character of who you is genuinely, and that's the thing you actually do and you actually practice, or you just some virtue signaler and you learn that shit from some fucking colonist or something. Like, like you, like you dead ass probably just learned that shit from some colonist or something, or some pilgrim, or some fucking school, institution, university, because they want to have some type of universe or some institution education of how they look at the world, and they self projecting that shit on your ass, and they make it seem like, oh, if you get more book smart and if you read more of our books and our authorships and our authors and stuff like that, that you gonna be something, and we gonna give you $1 million in our funding system based upon our fucking people on powder wigs and stuff like that. And in God we trust and stuff like that. But our God is a deity. It got nothing to do with the overall God and shit. So yeah, like just get y'all mind right, bro. That's it.